Hello, and welcome to today's live workshop. My name is Martin Coward. I am a spiritual mindset coach working largely with gay, bisexual, and transgender business leaders, influencers, and change agents to help them quiet their minds and open their hearts to heart space, to unlock the gate of unconditional love and infinite potential. And today I want to talk about one very, very important key to unlocking that gate, to living that life from a place of purpose and mission. So, what is a mission statement? And why is a mission statement important? So what I want to suggest is, if you will, download the worksheet. We learn and retain so much better if we just take some notes. So I've given you a very simple worksheet. We're going to cover a very simple topic today, but it's a very powerful topic, because without that North Star, without that mission statement to guide us and help us make decisions, we can get lost and we can get distracted. We can get distracted by shiny objects. Excuse me. We can get distracted by shiny objects, or we can get lost in the wilderness. We just don't know what to do next. We get confused. We get not sure. We get lost in our fears of not being good enough and all sorts of things, because we're just human. And so for me, I have lived by a mission statement or purpose, or a sense of purpose, for quite a while. Let's say for the last 20 years, I've been guided by a very clear mission statement, a North Star. And today I'm going to talk to you about some of the key components of what needs to go into a North Star, into a mission statement. And the thing about a mission statement, it should always have two things it should always have. It should have a very clear vision of what you want to create in the world. Remember, we are co-creators. We are, by the way, our essence is the divine creative life force of the universe. And when you get that clear, and I'm going to go over this in great detail next week during my 5-day workshop, which is called the LGBTQ Heroes Journey to Infinite Potential. And I'm going to cover this in greater detail. And I'm also going to cover it in detail regarding who we are, because there's 3 primary components we all need to have clear in our minds and in our hearts if we're going to make an impact in the world. We need to be really clear about who we are. We need to be really clear about our mission. And we better have a very clear sense of how we're going to do it. And that's what I'm going to cover next week in my free 5-day workshop. But today we're just going to have a real short little conversation about the mission statement and what goes into a mission statement. And we're going to flesh it all out a little bit more next week, and how do we actually get it from a place of the heart. But a mission statement has always got a very clear vision of the future. What is the world we want to create? And what are the adjectives that describe that world that we want to create? So one thing I would suggest that you might want to do is to stop the video for a few minutes and go and sit down and do a little meditation. And think back into your childhood of the world you wanted to live in. What kind of world was it? What were people doing? You know, what kind of world did you want to live in as a little boy or a little girl that made you feel so good about yourself, that made you feel safe and secure? What does that world look like? So give yourself a chance to sort of meditate and think, and then come back and just write down some adjectives that describe that world where you're really feeling fulfilled and you're happy and you're feeling joy. One thing you might want to do is go back into your childhood and think about the things you like to do that made you the happiest. You know, the things that you enjoyed doing the most, that you felt the most fulfilled doing. What were you doing? What made you feel good about it? Because that might give you some indication of the kind of world in which you want to create. I want to create a world of abundance and prosperity. I felt the world would be, I always lived in a place of scarcity, not having enough, not, my parents argued about money all the time. So I'd go out and sit in the monkey tree and I would dream about being a millionaire, being able to have my own jet and fly around the world and see things and explore the world and live in a world of exploration, excitement. And today, my vision is a world of abundance and prosperity. I wanted to live in a world that was full of abundance and full of prosperity, because the world I was living in was somewhat a little confusing, because my parents were always arguing about money. And it always made, and so I would like to go over and escape to a place called the Monkey Tree when I was a little boy with one of my friends. And we go over there and we just sit there and dream about a world of abundance and prosperity, where we got to live with the riches of the world. We got to have the things we wanted to have and do the things we wanted to do. And then we were taught, oh, you can't have that kind of stuff. Well, that's not true. We are co-creators of the world. That is our essence. That's who, and if it's coming from the heart, there is nothing we can't create in the world, particularly if it's for the benefit of others. So I don't want to create a world of abundance and prosperity just for Martin. I want to create a world of abundance for the whole world to enjoy, the whole world to live in. My parents too, who argued about money. And that might have been what drove it. It was a place of low. My parents seemed to be unhappy because there wasn't enough money to buy a refrigerator, for example, to buy a new car, or the things they wanted. And I said, I want to create a world that's different from that. And that's what I'm doing today. Because the other way is creating a world of scarcity and not enough and fear is a pretty miserable way to live. So if we set our North Star, our direction, say, I'm here today on a mission to create a world of abundance and prosperity, my perception of the world begins to change. And I can begin to project that kind of world that I want to live in across the planet, the whole world, to live in a world of abundance and prosperity. So the very first thing we want to look at and we want to get really clear about is, what is that vision of the world we want to create? What is that? The second thing we want to look at is, what are we doing to create that world? How are we participating in that? What is our role? What is the action we're taking, or who are we being? How are we showing up in that world? For me, I'm creating a world of abundance and prosperity by showing up in the moment with love and gratitude, with an open heart. And I'll expand on that and say, I'm showing up with love and gratitude, so I can allow my divine presence, Joy the wise woman, to make decisions for me and help guide me. So if I've got that North Star up there, that beacon that says, okay, this is where you want to go, particularly when the rational thinking mind is saying, oh no, don't do that. You don't want to do that. That's not going to get you anything. And the biggest case of that was last November, when I went to Nairobi to deliver a cell phone and a laptop to my now business partner and an employee, Abba Henry. My rational thinking mind was going, oh, don't be silly, Martin. You're not going to fly to Nairobi and deliver a cell phone. It costs too much money, and there's nobody over there that's going to, it's just not going to take you anywhere. That's my rational ego thinking mind at work, trying to tell me, no, don't do that. But my heart, I looked at my North Star and said, if I went to Nairobi, would I be living to my mission? Would I be creating a world of abundance and prosperity? Yes, because this is what I do. And this is one of my coaching clients. And when I take on a client, it doesn't mean I only become a client for people who already have money in their bank account. It means everybody. So if Abba wants to live in a world and create a world of abundance and prosperity in Africa, which he does, I want to go and support that mission. So I said yes to the divine. So I looked at my North Star and it said, yes, it fits the mission. And then I listened to Joy the Wise Woman for the guidance. I showed up in the morning with open heart and love and said, will you take care of me and help me get there and get back? Absolutely. I had a wonderful trip. And going to Africa opened my whole universe to a whole new way of looking at the world. I live in a world of immense abundance and prosperity because I went to Africa and met Ava Henry and other queer Africans. So it's having that clear vision of the future, that clear North Star of where you want to go and what you want to do in this lifetime and what you want to accomplish. And that's how we live a fulfilled life. That's how we as influencers and change agents are able to actually go out and make a difference in the world, because we've got a very clear direction and we have a very clear sense of purpose. And we have that divine intuition we are tapped into. So that's my mission statement. So within at the bottom of the worksheet, you'll put all that together. So what I want you to do is sit down and write down at least all the adjectives you can figure out that describe this world, that describe this vision of the world you want to create. It's true to your heart. Do it from a heart place. Not what you think the world needs from your head, but what does your heart tell you the world needs? What is the heart telling you what you want to do? So quiet the mind, open the heart, and ask your heart, what is it we're here to do? What's the world we want to live in? And what am I here to do with it? And then you create a mission. In the bottom of the page, there's a very simple little formula. It says, you start with, I am creating a world of abundance and prosperity by showing up with love and gratitude. That is my personal mission statement. I wake up every single morning of my life and say, what are we doing today? What miracle are we going to create today? How are we going to make the world that feels sometimes very scarce, very lonely, very dangerous, very dark? How are we going to create a world of abundance and prosperity in all this darkness? We're going to shine the light of love and gratitude on it. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to say, okay, the world's full of darkness right now. It certainly is. There's very painful things going on in the world right now, particularly with my gay brothers and sisters in Africa and what's going on in the Ukraine. These are painful, dark times. And we can so easily get ourselves caught up in the drama of these things. But getting caught up in the drama is not going to help us to move the needle forward. So we need that North Star. We need that mission statement to guide us, to direct us, so we can listen to that divine intuition within us to guide us in the right direction and create that as a reality. This is how we create, by the way. This is how we create. This is what we're here for. We're not workers. We're not doers. We're being. We're being the co-creator of the universe. We're being the life force. That's what we are. That's what's inside of all of us. That is our essence. So when we get very clear about that, and I'm going to do some stuff next week in the workshop about what's in the way of what happens is, when you go back to that innocent little boy or little girl where you didn't have any protection around you because you didn't need it, all of a sudden things started happening to you. Maybe you got bullied, maybe you got beaten up, maybe most of us had some type of money trauma. So we create a protective shield that tells us, no, we're not good enough to have all those wonderful things in the life because we're whatever. We were bullied, we were queer, we were something wrong with us. But the truth of the matter is, we're worthy of it. We are co-creators of the universe. It is our essence. We are powerful, queer creators of the universe. We are divine. It is our energy, not me, Martin. One of my favorite mantras is, be still and know that I am God, not me. There's a big difference. There's the big I that we all are, the big I of the big heart of the universe, the creative genius of the universe that we're all of. We just got to move the things out of the way so we can actually experience it and feel it and tap into it. Again, which we're going to talk about next week in my workshop. And then number two, once we know we're very clear that we are this divine creative light force of the universe that has the ability to create anything our heart's desire, not our little egoic mind's desire. That's a misnomer when it comes to the law of attraction. Oh, Martin wants a Mercedes. I'm gonna manifest a Mercedes. Well, the universe doesn't care what kind of car I drive, but the universe is an energy field of creativity and love. So it will get behind me, and it does get behind me as a source of energy, a source of force, a source of revenue, a source in the form of money. to be able to support what I'm here to do as a divine mission, as a soul's purpose, if you will. And the only thing in my enlightenment moment, Joy, the divine said to Martin, you don't have to do anything for the rest of your life except one thing: show up with love and gratitude, an open heart. And I, the divine, I, Joy, the wise woman, will take over from there. It's taken me a little while. It's taken me a few years to let go of the wheel of the car, let go of the reins, because Martin wants to control everything. Martin wants to do everything. But by practicing and having a vision, having a North Star, and all of a sudden just beginning to lean into and realizing that the universe actually has my back. The universe is working with us, not against us. That is probably the single most powerful enlightenment understanding I can give you. If you're still believing that the universe is out to get you, you haven't awakened yet, because it's just not true. You're living inside a shadow that tells you the universe is waking up for everybody else but you. You would not be alive. You are worthy. The divine creator created you with a specific purpose to do something. You're here for a reason. And let's help you try to find out what that reason is. So this was just a little small sort of exercise to get you thinking about the value of having a mission statement. So I want to encourage you next week, if you will, to sign up for my free course. It's a 5-day course. It's less than an hour a day for 5 days, and there will be replays in case you need them, because not everybody can attend something at 12 o'clock every day. But there'll be replays that you can watch. But do try to come to the live events. That's the importance, because they're very interactive. And there's going to be some really fun. It's a fun workshop. It's a transformational workshop. And at the end of the workshop, you will have a very clear sense of what your mission is in the world, who you are, and also some very clear ways how to sustain it, how to make it work, how to plug in, how to actually live by that mission every single day, so that you can leave the workshop knowing exactly who you are, what you're here to do, and how you're about to do it, which is often something we all struggle with. At least it was until I got this clarity in my own heart, in my own mind, in my own soul, from my own experience. And I'm here to share that with you. And I'm going to share that with you next week in my workshop, the GBTQ journey, hero's journey to infinite potential, because that's what it is. We have infinite potential within us, and we just unlock that gate by opening the heart and quieting the mind. So I hope this was helpful for you today. It's just a little taste of what's coming, and I hope that you'll register for my workshop. I think we're going to have a really good time next week, and I'd just love to see you on the inside. In the meantime, may love and prosperity prevail.